Hello students, I am Dr. Saleha Jamal, Faculty Department of Geography, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. Welcome to today's class. Again, we are here with the course Climate Change, Vulnerability and Adaptation. And today's topic of discussion is Climate Change and Technology, Adoption and Access. Now, in this era of climate change, we, the human beings, are trying a lot to reduce the global warming, to cut the carbon emissions to the atmosphere, and to mitigate with the climate change. And now we can say that climate change is one of the significant global challenge we are facing, which not only affects the habitats, even the ecosystem, various economies, and overall communities worldwide. So addressing these impacts that does not require only the policy or we can say the behavioral changes, but the rate of climate change can be mitigated only through the adoption of the technological innovations. We know that now the communities and industries are increasingly relying on the different technologies in order to adapt and mitigate and develop resilience against the climate related difficulties. So climate change nowadays, it is causing a rapid shift in the use and accessibility of technology across a variety of sectors. Those sectors may be the agriculture sector we are talking about, the transport sector we are talking about, or overall we can say many of the industrial sector. Now we are going to discuss the different sectors where we are observing the technology innovations in order to mitigate with the climate change and make our environment more resilient to the climate change. First of all, we will see that many industries have accelerated the use of renewable energy technologies. These renewable energy solutions are becoming more and more popular as there is need of to cut the carbon or we can say the greenhouse emissions is growing more and more. We know that the major contributors of this greenhouse gas is fossil fuel. So fossil fuel can be substituted through the solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectric energy, geothermal power technologies, etc. And these are widely being embraced by the different industrial sector. In order to reduce these carbon footprints and prepare for energy shortages, which may worsen the climate change, the government organization, private organization, the business, and the nowadays the families even are investing in solar panels, wind turbines, and even in the battery storage. We should thanks to the development in the energy storage technologies like solid state and lithium ion batteries, which are helping a lot to mitigate with the climate and make the environment more resilient to the climate change. Here in this figure, you can observe the solar energy photovoltaic cell. This is all you can see. This blue color, this is showing the solar energy panel photovoltaic cell and wind turbine. You can see here, these are the, we can say, wind turbines farm power which is generating a nature landscape for the production of renewable green energy which is more environment friendly. And nowadays we know we are facing the fossil fuel shortage also, and even this due to this many conflicts between the different regions, countries are also arising. So in order not only to reduce these conflicts but in order to cut the emissions from this fossil fuels, that is greenhouse emissions in the atmosphere, nowadays it is not only the choice but day by day it is becoming the necessity to adopt this renewable energy. Another access to the technology we can see mainly in the smart agriculture and precision farming. When we talk about smart agriculture and precision farming, it is somewhat which is very much different from the traditional or we can say conventional methods of farming, which is now becoming day by day in this era of climate change vulnerable. Why it is vulnerable? Because we know agriculture is one of the most climate sensitive economic sector, which is many times dependent upon the, we can say, the temperature regimes of a region, the precipitation patterns of a region. Due to now, due to the climate change, lots of changes in the temperature and even the patterns of precipitation have been observed, which is impacting the agricultural productivity. So due to this, now it has caused a boom in the use of technology in agriculture. Nowadays, best example you can give for the drones, satellites, and the sensors are very good examples of precision farming instruments now, which are helping the farmers to better monitor their crop, even the crop health, soil quality, and the water usages, which increases the yields in the face of the climate change. Farmers can now go through the soil testing, and the results may show which of the nutrient is lacking in the soil. So only that nutrient is to be added in the field, not the general nutrient we are talking about that is to be added to the field. That is what known as the precision farming. How much water is required by the plant, by the soil at the particular time of the sowing or near the harvesting or the growing period of the crops, that is also pointed out through these sensors, which helps farmers in more precision farming method. So this is what we can say is somewhat a shift from the traditional farming methods to the smart agriculture and precision farming by utilizing certain instruments like drones, satellite imagery, sensors, etc. A lot of shifts have been seen all over worldwide. Even in the metropolitan areas, if we talk about mainly the locations which are mostly affected by the extreme weather events like drought, floods, more food is produced effectively by the certain technological innovations that may be a given example in terms of the climate controlled greenhouse by maintaining the temperature. What we have saying that the now Ladakh region is mainly growing various vegetables by maintaining the temperature that is under the greenhouse effect. Now the hydroponics are also embraced by the certain region, that is what we can say growing plants in water based nutrient solution, that is known as hydroponics. Means it does not require soil, simply water based nutrient solution is enough for the growth of certain plants. And even we can see the vertical farming technology is also used in the urban areas. So these are the some of the methods, we can say a shift in the agriculture from the traditional conventional method of farming towards the most advanced method of farming. Here this picture shows how a drone is flying over the agricultural field and capturing the data for the crop health, which area of the crop is mainly affected by the certain disease, or even we can say pest, or which area needs priority attention. These all things can be found out through this type of analysis. Another shift we can see a technological even advancement now in forecasting system. There is lot of increased demand we can see in climate data and even AI based forecasting tools. If we compare it from the previous studies or a few decades back, the forecasting system was not very much precise as compared to the today. The precise forecasting system used to alarm or inform us before many of the catastrophes, so the evacuation can be performed, or accordingly certain adjustment to mitigate certain situation can be adopted. Means overall the risk is being reduced by the most precise forecasting tools for communities, governments, and even for the companies ready for and in order to react to the catastrophic weather occurrences. Accurate climate and predictive modeling are becoming very much essential. Early warning systems are required, and which can only be made possible through the sophisticated climate modeling and AI based forecasting techniques, which are very much important, very much essential for anticipating hazards like hurricanes, droughts and floods. Early warning may due to this early warning, mainly the people or the we can say communities engaged in the particular sector like agriculture, tourism, etc., they can reduce the risk of certain catastrophes. In order to minimize such risk, lower the financial losses, industries like urban planning, insurance companies, and even the agricultural sector is embracing these technologies in larger amounts. So here you can see a picture which shows the satellite imagery showing the terrain, that is what we can say from the Aqua West and CloudSat view of the hurricane Eliana at 2100 UTC on 23 August 2006. This here we can see the eye, and even we can predict the movement of this hurricane, at what rate it is moving and at what time it will hit the coast. Everything can be analyzed and can be calculated, and accordingly it can be forecasted and warned. So such type of now advanced forecasting tool is very much becoming essential in order to reduce the risk from such catastrophes. Even the technological advancement and innovations have been also observed in water management and conservation technologies. If we talk about the climate change induced water scarcity, already we have discussed in previous lecture, this water scarcity has sparked various technological advancement and innovations in water management and conservation. Mainly it is very much significant for the water stressed areas. They may adopt the desalination plants, even wastewater recycling plants and water purification technologies. These effective water utilization technologies will help a lot in order to increase the efficiency and in order to increase the accessibility to the fresh water. The effective water utilization also we can see in the urban and the agricultural setting is mainly made possible by certain digital tools such as smart irrigation system and Internet of Things enabled centers. This smart irrigation systems may include like drip irrigation, we can say sprinkler irrigation, which reduces the water losses to a certain extent, and Internet of Things can monitor the water consumption rate, per capita water excess rate, water quality, etc., through which water management and conservation can be performed. Mainly in the water stressed areas, if we talk about like Middle East, California and the portions of South Asia, where water conservation is just not the choice, but it is one of the necessity for maintaining people and industry. This trend is very much evident, like we can see smart irrigation and Internet of Things is very much evident in these water stressed regions. So this picture shows a smart irrigation system operating in a drought prone region. How this irrigation system is saving water, you can see clearly. I have already said smart irrigation system may include sprinkler irrigation, or even we can say drip irrigation, to the drip irrigation that is providing water in only to the plants, or we can say roots of the plant. That is what we know, that is known as drip irrigation. Nowadays, in order to mitigate and make the regions and the cities more resilient, green building technologies are being adopted. These technologies of green building, which generally increases the resilience against the extreme weather events, and it also lowers the carbon emission to the atmosphere and improves the energy efficiency, is very much adopted by the construction energy industry, as a result of climate change. So particularly mainly we have observed in the cities innovation like energy efficient system of heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, even the provision of cool roofs, provision of green roofs because no open lands are available, and even the sustainable building materials are becoming very much widespread. Here these things, if you're talking about the heating, ventilation and air conditioning system or cool roofs or the green roofs, this is very much evident in the metropolitan cities and most developed cities. One of the example how cities are utilizing technology to adopt or to lessen the effects of climate change is the emergence of smart cities. We are talking about nowadays smart cities. Why we call it smart cities? Because it also incorporate the waste management system, even it increases the use of renewable energy system it incorporates, and even the energy efficient infrastructure. So the concept of smart cities is one of the we can say technology that is mainly adopted in order to lessen the effect of the climate change. Here you can see a modern building with a green roof, and you can see already it is having the green roof because of we can say lack of space for the expansion of greenery. Here you can say green roof, and even you can see energy efficiency in terms of the solar panel. This is what you can see here. This is the solar panel, and this here all you can see this all is what that is the green roofs. This is one of the example you can quote. Now, use of the technologies for the remote work in order to complete the remote work. The remote work technology has brought to light mainly in the regions which are affected by the extreme weather events, and even when we are seeing in this era of climate change, the frequency of natural disaster is increasing. So mainly the regions which are more affected, they are being utilizing and embracing this remote work technology. And such technologies you must have observed during the COVID period also, when we can say different companies continuity is being disrupted due to the lockdown. Such technologies may include cloud computing, digital collaboration software system, video conferencing platforms, already what we are having you can analyze, and even the examples of certain remote work solutions, that these are becoming very much important in order to preserve company continuity under the event of certain physical disruption, or if the region is affected by certain calamities, catastrophes that is aggravated by the climate changes. So moving to remote work, not only we can say it helps in the continuation of the work from far off places. If we are talking about that company is situated somewhere or any industrial sector is situated somewhere, but still the work is being completed because of the adoption of cloud computing, digital collaboration system, video conferencing platforms, etc. Not only it helps in such things, but also it cut down on emissions from commuting, that is transportation emissions, which lowers the greenhouse gas emission and even the urban pollution. So on one hand it is supporting in the continuity of the work where it may get disrupted due to the certain extreme weather events, and on the other hand it is lowering the greenhouse emissions, mainly that is cut down from the commuting or we can say transportation. So that is what we can say, adoption of remote work technologies are also playing a very important role in mitigating the climate. Not only this, but even the deployment of climate resilient infrastructure technologies are also becoming very much important day by day. Even the demand for the climate resilient infrastructure has fueled the use of certain cutting edge engineering design solution, and we can say as the extreme weather events are increasing, as the frequency of extreme weathers are increasing, so the demand for the climate resilient infrastructure is also increasing. It is but obvious. In the areas which are major at risk, in the vulnerable areas, just like just a drought prone areas or the coastal areas or areas mainly which is affected by the floods, etc., climate proof roadways, elevated infrastructure, automated flood barriers, flood resistant structures are being installed. This is what we can say somewhat climate resilient infrastructure technology adoption. So, why is such climate resilient infrastructure technology is being adopted by the certain region? Because it guarantees that infrastructure can endure climate stressors, and also it can also continue all the critical services that is available in the times of the emergencies, mainly at the times of certain catastrophes. Such technologies may include certain Internet of Things sensors, we can say predictive analytics, and even the real-time monitoring are even employed in order to deploy such climate resilient infrastructure technologies. A very advanced technology, that is, we can say carbon capture storage system, is now being embraced by the certain industries. These are becoming very much popular. We can say this is a perfect way to offset the industrial emissions directly to the atmosphere, especially where the industries are cutting the use of the fossil fuels is very much difficult. Certain industry cannot shift to certain renewable form of energy like solar energy or wind energy, etc., where the use of fossil fuels cannot be stopped. So such industries are now adopting the carbon capture storage systems. Mainly the industries like steel industry, or we can say cement and certain energy sectors. These sectors are mainly implementing the carbon capture storage facilities, which enable to store carbon dioxide emissions underground and capture them before they reach to the environment. Means before the emission of the environment in the atmosphere, it is captured and it is mainly released underground. So the carbon emissions are not generally emitted in the atmosphere. Although it is very much new and one of the most advanced technologies, but it is growing dramatically as the various countries and the business works are achieving a net zero emission targets. This figure shows the carbon capture storage. You can see here a simplified process how this carbon capture storage system work. That is, capturing of carbon from the industries means generally the fossil industries using the fossil fuels, such like this industry is using the natural gas. You can see the use of the natural gas. On the other hand, natural gas is burned at the power station, then that carbon dioxide is separated from the other gases. Only the carbon dioxide, whatever gases are released in the atmosphere, before the release, the carbon dioxide is separated from the all other gases, and generally that carbon dioxide is stored underground. Here it is carbon dioxide is stored under the North Sea. It is the one of the example here, means overall carbon dioxide is stored underground, means it is not emitted in the atmosphere. So it is not adding for the global warming. So it is one of the newer and very much effective technology. Although it is very much new, but it is being embraced by the various nations and the business works who are targeting for the net zero emissions target. Overall, what we have talked about how the innovative technologies are being embraced and adopted by the different nations, different sectors in order to combat or in order to mitigate the climate change and reduce the impact of climate change. But these all technologies are impacting on the digital divide, or we can say overall technological accessibility, because adoption of these technological we can say innovations that require financial assistance, that also require certain skilled manpower, etc. So adoption of climate driven technologies is, we know that almost it is accelerating in the different nations, but at the same time a digital divide is being highlighted and widened by the unequal distribution. Mainly, we can say here the vulnerable communities are the more disadvantaged communities, because these are the low income groups, or we can say mainly of the rural areas with restricted access to the certain resources, that the resources which is very much related with the climate resilient technology. So they lack access to these resources, mainly due to the poverty or even lack of infrastructure. So wealthier nations are more likely to adopt to and to access such cutting edge technologies that support climate adaptation. So that's why we can say, although the it is very much significant to adopt all these technological innovations in order to reduce the impact of the climate change, but it is still creating a divide in technological accessibility. So it becomes very much essential to close this divide by making investments in technology infrastructure and enacting laws that guarantees fair access of this technology to each and every community and to each and every nation. That only we can be successful in mitigating the climatic impact. When we talk about also the adoption of disaster response and recovery technologies, that always it will require rapid reaction and recovery solution. Then only we can reduce the risk. In such rapid reaction and recovery solutions, we generally need search and rescue operations, means advancement in technology in searching and rescue operations, mainly the damage assessments and effective relief delivery, all make use of by making the use of drones, satellite imaging, AI powered platforms, etc. So the government are nowadays implementing the technologies like public announcement systems and even the alert applications and early warning system in order to increase the readiness for disaster and reduce the fatalities during the extreme climatic events. Overall, such adoption of disaster response and recovery technologies can reduce mainly the risk, or we can say the loss that is mainly caused by the different catastrophes, or we can say different events which generally aggravated by the climate change. Here you can see in this picture how drones are used in the disaster management, mainly in search and rescue operations. It is very much useful. 3D imaging can be performed. Even the payload drops, Wi-Fi cell hotspots, all these functions can be performed by these innovative technologies. Talking about the growth in the carbon offset and environmental monitoring technologies. As we know that now AI and blockchain are generally used to manage the carbon credits. Even they are used to monitor the carbon emissions, and although it is used to validate the sustainability initiatives. How much deforestation is taking place, what is the status of air quality, how much pollution is present in the atmosphere, what are the changes regarding the ecosystem, biodiversity, all this can be tracked through the satellite based environmental monitoring system. So we have such a technology where we can monitor all these things, the rate of depletion of the forest, the rate of the changes, transformation of certain biodiversity, ecosystem habitats. All this can be monitored, which provide a real-time data that can direct towards the conservation effects, that can increase the efficiency of the conservation effects. So overall, it can be said that adoption of such innovative technologies is nowadays is not a choice, but it is becoming necessity of each and every community and each and every nation. When we all together will embrace such technologies, then only we can combat successfully with the climate change. Thank you. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you.